Hello everybody, welcome to the channel Talking with Jay Springer, and on today's video I've got every Spider-Man movie villain ranked from the worst to the best in my opinion. Of course I want to hear yours, so let me know down below in that comment section your worst to best ranking of all these villains. I want to give a spoiler warning to anybody who hasn't seen Spider-Man Far From Home yet. You've been warned, so if you go into this video you may be spoiled, and don't forget to not read the comments down below if you haven't seen it. But if you have, you can enjoy this video, interact, and even if you haven't seen it, go away and come back and you'll definitely enjoy this video for sure. So without further ado guys, let's jump straight into it. So guys, we have 12 villains from the worst to the best, and starting off the worst is Rhino at number 12. He was obviously in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 for a short period of time. I didn't like the look of him, didn't like the actual actor's role in this movie, even though the actor himself is actually quite a good actor. I didn't like nothing about this character. It felt like a waste of time, just an extra in the movie. Coming in at number 11, we have Topher Grace's Venom, obviously from Spider-Man 3. Everybody hates on Topher Grace, and in my opinion I want to give mine, and that is that it isn't Topher Grace's fault. I think it was a wrong casting from the people backstage. I think it was a popularity thing. They just chose him because he was quite hot at the time, and they wanted him in this movie for a role which probably is out of his comfort zone, if I'm honest with you. Now if you see him nowadays, he's done some amazing performances, and the one thing series that I most remember him from is from That 70s Show. So he's more of a comedy, sort of romantic sort of guy, which I really think this movie was out of his range really at that time, but he still gave a decent performance in my opinion. I don't blame the actor, I blame the people backstage, but Venom was terrible. Into that top 10 now. At number 10 we have the Green Goblin, played by Dane DeHaan in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now Dane DeHaan is a great actor. I didn't like his performance as Harry Osborn in that movie at all, but as the Green Goblin I felt like he'd done a decent job. He looked menacing, he sounded menacing. What he did in the movie when he actually was in it for a little amount of time, and what he did as the Goblin as well was very good. Obviously killing Gwen and really emotionally hurting Peter. I really enjoyed his role as the Goblin. It really is a shame that obviously he didn't get a lot of time in the movie. Again, another movie with too many villains like Spider-Man 3. I feel like Dane DeHaan would have done great if he had a lot more time in the movie as the Goblin. At number 9 guys, we have got Electro, played by Jamie Foxx. Now this could be a very interesting pick for you guys. Obviously this could be the worst villain for you, maybe one under, whatever, but for me I really enjoyed Jamie Foxx's role in this movie. I feel like he still gave a great performance, and I feel like Electro as a character was quite interesting in the movie. Obviously it was a crucial part, it was the main villain. It came through with an interesting story. It sort of reminded me of Sandman when it comes to the Spider-Man 3 movie. He had an interesting story of how he became the villain, and I feel like the character could have been utilised a lot better. But for the actor itself, I think he done a great job of what he had when it comes to the dialogue and actual scenes where he was on the screen. Number 8 guys, we have the Lizard, played by Rhys Ifans. Now Rhys actually really done a good job with this character. I feel like again it's another backstage thing when it comes to the Amazing Spider-Man movies. It's all to do with the director, the script, and everything backstage. It's never normally the characters and the actors themselves really, and I feel like Lizard was an interesting character. He had everything set up for him, but there was just some plot points where there was plot holes that really made the character quite confusing, like why did he want to turn everybody into lizards? That was the main thing for me that really knocks this guy down. But really the Lizard had some really good confrontations with the Spider-Man, and I feel like he was a cool, interesting character, and it was really good to see a Lizard in a Spider-Man movie, of course. Coming in at number 7 is Doc Ock, played by Kathryn Hahn into the Spider-Verse movie. I felt like she was great. She didn't have a lot of screen time, but when she was on the screen, again, she was very good at obviously being a villain, and there was a twist with her being the villain. Obviously when actually the Spider-Man Peter Parker actually asked her, she turns into a villain. I felt that was a really good twist and really cool, and actually seeing Doc Ock as a woman, I felt that was a great angle in that movie, and I generally really enjoyed it. I felt like if she had had more screen time, she probably would have turned out to be the best villain in that movie for me. I really did enjoy her, but she didn't get a lot of screen time. That's what makes her coming into that mid-place spot above all the bad guys. Coming in number 6, we have Kingpin from Into the Spider-Verse movie, played by Liev Schreiber. I am a big fan of Liev Schreiber, guys. He is a great actor, a great voice actor at that. In this movie, I think he really done well with the Kingpin character. Kingpin really was a great character in this movie. Obviously the main villain, coming from obviously the Doc Ock character, which we just spoke about. I feel like obviously he was better than that character because he had more screen time, but even when he had the more screen time, I felt like the way they utilised the character in ways, he was come across bit non-Kingpin like, really. I felt like they could have utilised him and really developed his character a lot better in that movie, but no doubt he was great in the movie. Obviously he was the big presence on the screen, the badass, the leader, which we all love when it comes to Kingpin. Now we're into the top 5, guys. At number 5 is where it gets a bit opinionated probably in the comment section, but in my personal opinion, at number 5 it is Sandman from Spider-Man 3. Thomas Hayden Church played a great role in this movie. He had an interesting character with motives that we understood. We understand why he was being bad. We understood why he was hurting emotionally and what his aims were of the movie. He was a general character which was enjoyable, human-like and relatable, and I really, really liked them type of characters. And I felt like if they only would have made a better movie, if they would have focused on Sandman and obviously the Goblin played by obviously James Franco in that movie, I felt like we would have got a great movie in that movie. And it really sucks because Venom, the character of Venom, really took a lot of that movie and spoilt it really. But really, I really enjoyed the Sandman character, and I really enjoyed Thomas Hayden Church playing him as well. I do think there was a lot more they could have done with the character. Of course, this isn't the best portrayal we're going to ever see, hopefully, but really, I did enjoy it, and I do see the potential with this character. At number 4, guys, this is Mysterio, played by Jake Gyllenhaal. Obviously, the new Spider-Man Far From Home movie just came out. I went to go and see it, and obviously, we all sort of expected Mysterio's a bad guy. He was going to turn bad eventually, whether it was at the end of the movie, whether it was in the middle of the movie like he did, or whether it was in the next movie. We all knew that Jake Gyllenhaal was going to be the bad guy eventually, and that it happened definitely in this movie, and it was great. Mysterio was great on the screen. We've finally seen Mysterio in a Spider-Man movie, and played by a phenomenal actor like Jake Gyllenhaal. This was a performance of a lifetime. I really did enjoy this. Obviously, the twist at the end of the movie as well was great when it comes to obviously Mysterio leaking the information. Obviously, Spider-Man being the bad guy was great as well. It just goes to show the evil, conniving character, and how he latched onto Peter, knowing his plans and knowing Peter was really close to Tony and grieving still. It just goes to show the evilness of the character of Mysterio, using his brain and using everybody around him to get what he wants. And it was just a great character, a great performance, and really one of the best. I didn't want to put it too high because we could have got obviously a better portrayal. We could have got a lot more obviously him as a bad guy, because he wasn't a bad guy throughout the whole movie. That's the reason it really goes down in the list. But really a great performance. If we see a movie in the future with Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, or even another Mysterio actor throughout the whole movie, I'm sure it would definitely go up into that top 3. Into that top 3 now, guys. These ones you can mix around and choose your preference when it comes to these, because they're all phenomenal in their own way. But for me, at number 3 is going to be the Vulture, played by Michael Keaton. Now, the Vulture in a movie is great and very unexpected at the time, to be honest with you, because I felt like a character like Mysterio, for example, would have come through before the Vulture. But it was great to see the Vulture on the screen, played phenomenally by Michael Keaton. But the most memorable scene, of course, in Michael Keaton's career is going to be one of his best for sure, is that tensed, dramatic scene between Peter and obviously the Vulture in the car, where he knows he's now Spider-Man, and the tension builds, and you get that the conversation between them. A really great dramatic scene, and that was probably one of the best scenes I've seen in a superhero movie for a long, long time. It really built drama and tension so well. But really, I really enjoy Michael Keaton, and I'm sure whatever role he takes, whether it's Marvel or DC, whatever role he takes, he just goes to smash it. He really does. And I really loved the Vulture in the Spider-Man movie. Vulture is a very interesting character, and as well as the story behind the character in this movie as well, why he was doing what he was doing and what he was doing, and the confrontations between Spider-Man was just absolutely great. I do think we could have got an amazing fight though, because we got a great fight between them, but we never got an amazing fight. That's the one thing that really knocks this guy down at 3rd place for me. At number 2, guys, we've got Willem Dafoe's performance as the Green Goblin. I really was tough trying to pick between 1 and 2, but really I've gone with Green Goblin underneath, just because, really, and it's such a small thing, really, the costume design. I felt the costume design could have been better on the Green Goblin. That's what really knocks this movie down. But everything else really was a phenomenal performance by Willem Dafoe, one of his best for sure. He just knows how to play them evil, twisted characters, especially one that's still likeable, and that's what I really enjoy, because we still like Norman Osborn because we know he's evil and we like that evil. It's really twisted and dark as well, but really I loved his performance. I loved the character. I loved his performance as Norman as well as the Green Goblin, both evil and twisted. And I love the fact that this is sort of like your Joker and Batman situation with Spider-Man and Goblin. They're arch enemies. They're like sort of like family, and they know each other, and it's just a whole great backstory and really well portrayed in the Spider-Man 1 movie as well. But really, as I said, the only thing that knocks this down is the costume design. It could have been improved, and yeah, I just felt like, and also some of his little cheeky lines that he liked to put across was quite cheesy at the time. The best villain in a Spider-Man movie throughout all the movies is at number 1, Dr. Octopus, played by Alfred Molina. Now, this guy is phenomenal. Again, just like Willem Dafoe, just like Michael Keaton and Jake Gyllenhaal. But really, what signifies his performance is, I love villains and I love heroes that are relatable, that you can understand their story and really enjoy their story. Now, with obviously the Green Goblin, he's got a great backstory and a great rivalry, which really makes that character interesting. But with this guy, he's got a great rivalry with Peter because they're both smart, they both work in science, so they've got similarities, but as well as they've got their differences, and their differences is the way they're dealing with things. Obviously, Spider-Man's the good guy and he's the bad guy, and I really enjoyed obviously the train scene, them both going at one of the best scenes ever in a superhero movie. Great, really was. As well as obviously the good parts where Peter and him are talking, and just everything, the whole thing behind the character of obviously Dr. Octopus. I just see it as like a Heath Ledger performance. It's something that can't be reached because it was so phenomenal of a performance. I just don't see anyone topping this Dr. Octavius role by Alfred Molina. I really don't. I really enjoy it, and it really guts me to say, because I love Spider-Man 1 and I love the Green Goblin so much throughout my childhood. But really, if I look it into detail, I do believe Dr. Octopus is the best one yet throughout the Spider-Man movies. So guys, that is all these Spider-Man villains ranked from the worst to the best, in my opinion. Don't forget to leave yours down below in that comment section. Of course, I'd love to see your rankings from the worst to the best. And don't forget as well, guys, if you enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up. Let us know you enjoy the content I'm giving you, as well as shares the video around to other people to enjoy as well. As well as, if you're new here, consider subscribing and hitting that bell for much, much more. When it comes to movies and TV series, you're going to get so much stuff when it comes to reviews, ranking videos just like this one, or even trailer reactions. We've got so much going on this channel. I'm sure you ain't gonna want to miss it. So without further ado, guys, I've been me, you've been you, and I'll see you next time, guys, on Talking with Jay Springer.